Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, a special welcome to you. So today I'm going to talk a bit about the UHQR releases from Analogue Productions that are coming down the pike and some changes we've noticed. That's coming up next here on the Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. Well, here we are. It's just the Easter season passing, and we got a little Easter egg last week. It came by the way of the Acoustic Sounds and Analogue Productions website, and it relates to the UHQRs coming from Steely Dan. These Steely Dan announcements were a big deal in October or so of 2022 with the first release on November 4th by Chad Kassem and the team of Can't Buy a Thrill. It is, in fact, an excellent sounding album, one of my favorite albums, and definitely, for me at least, worth the money at $150 because it's such a favorite of mine. Followed by that release was December 16th when Countdown to Ecstasy came out. So right out of the box, before 2022 was over, we had two of the catalog items of Steely Dan being released. So the anticipation was that they would come about every 45 to 90 days or something in that range. And so here it is. We're into April. And Pretzel Logic would be the next logical release, no pun intended, because it was their third album. And in fact, it has not been released yet. Now, the album showed up, at least the cover of it, on a video Chad did recently in the background. And when I talked to Chad, he said it would be coming soon, but not real soon, or not very soon. But that's an ambiguous term. So we really don't know. But all of a sudden, last week, some dates popped up on their website for each of the releases. So what we saw is Pretzel Logic is going to be due on a certain date, and now it says July 28th, 2023 is the date that they are showing for that. Okay. That's interesting in two ways. A, they've really never given really hard specific dates before, and it's a little ways out there even from now. I mean, we're talking another 3 months plus from the current date of April 10th when I'm recording this. So that was a bit surprising. I understand it hasn't gone to press yet, but it will be. But it seems like a long wait. Okay, fine. But Chad's group putting in a really specific date just seemed a little awkward to me. Having interviewed him and knowing his basic contention is it'll be ready when it's ready because there's a lot of variables and moving parts, pressing the records just being one of those, getting in the materials and slotting it in the queue and all the different gymnastics you have to do when you're in manufacturing. I would have thought maybe it would say coming Q2 or Q3 or whatever, something maybe a little broader, but there was a specific date. Well, then looking at all the releases, the next release to show a date in sequence was actually Asia. It was like, oh, okay, Asia, that's great. Everybody's looking forward to that. They're pressing more of those than the others because of its popularity. And it shows to be 9/29 or September 29th of 2023. Okay? So that's about 63 days or 2 months from the release of Pretzel Logic. About right. Then comes the next release, which we would have thought would not have been Gaucho because that was actually their very last release, but it shows Gaucho being the next release, okay? And that's great news, and it shows to be on December 1st of 2023. Another 63-day gap between Asia's release and the release of Gaucho, which is also highly anticipated because of the sonic quality of that album and the popularity of it. Then we get into the next release is going to be Katie Lied, and that shows to be March 29th of 2024, 119 days later from the previous release. And last but I guess not least, I don't know, maybe it is The Royal Scam, which is an ironic name for an album in the music industry, but I think we know what they meant by that. And it shows a June 28th, 2024 release, which is 91 days after Katie Lied comes out. So we had this, really this initial release that came out of Can't Buy a Thrill. 42 days later, we had Countdown to Ecstasy. And given the dates that are here, Pretzel Logic being July 28th, that's 224 days from the release of Countdown to Ecstasy. It's just a little oddity in terms of timing and gap. There's always a lot that needs to be done here in terms of getting the lacquers cut and him approving what Bernie did. And I know we've all heard that he did 7 different cuts of one side lacquer for Can't Buy a Thrill. So that's got to be right, of course. You then have to get your pressing time. You have to get all your jackets in and all the materials you need to bring things together. So there's a lot of moving parts, as I always say in this, but that kind of gives us a range. So that's the layout. So 2 significant things, I guess, is naming dates, and the other is the sequencing not being exactly true to the release sequence of the catalog, which we probably just presumed would happen because of what we've been told on the first ones. But I think it's fair to say that the sequence proposed now would definitely put some more popular titles sooner into the stream. You may disagree with that. I'd be love to hear your comments on that. But the irony of it is here we have dates that are hard dates, and the problem with hard dates is their metrics and their targets, and they can be, you can be early, you can be late, but there's something there. It's not quite as open of a thing as like when you say it's going to be released in a quarter or whatever. But this is what's out there now. I know there's been some discussion about this on the forums, and what it tells me is that we have the option here to expect that we're going to be getting Asia probably sooner than we expected. I was thinking in my mind, given the release sequence, we'd be lucky to see it this year. And we definitely are going to be getting Gaucho sooner if it does, in fact, come out by December 1st or by the end of the year, because I honestly didn't expect that until mid next year. And as an older guy at 65 years old, every day counts, right? So to me, that's great news from Analogue Productions. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet Pretzel Logic beats that July 28th date that's in there. I just have that instinct that they'll be able to get that one out sooner. And then getting Asia in September would be a heck of a nice thing to do, and nice Christmas present with Gaucho. So Chad and his team, we're all pulling for you to always give us the best quality, which we know you will. And that's a matter of doing it right and waiting until it's ready. And that's what we want. In spite of any dates that are thrown out there, it's really about quality. And I think that that's where we always know you're going to be focused. So good luck to the team at Analogue Productions and QRP at all the efforts that are needed to get this accomplished. So as always, thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber and you'd like to, just click on the bell down below and the all will get you notifications. A thumbs up is always appreciated, liking the video, and comments I love to get and respond to. Tell me what you think about these dates. Good idea? Bad idea? What about the change in sequence? What do you think of that? And does it really matter at all? We all know it's going to come out when it's going to come out, but now we have something to talk about, and that's what the channel is all about. So for now, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time as we take our next Safe and Sound Texas audio excursion. Take care, everybody.